2. Hey guys, what is up? Kid here, Burn One, Shadowverse Evolved channel. As always, we're back with another set review. Idolmaster Cinderella Girls. We've made it to Sword. If you've been watching, you know who's with me. We got Prescia, longtime friend of the channel.
Yes.
And then we have Captain, the top 8 Grand Showdown champion. Well, actually, he was not the champion, but he was top 8. So
he was the top 8 champion. He was the best player in top 8.
Yeah. At this point, I'm here to stay. So as long as everybody knows my name.
All right, here is the rating key, guys. Let's move along at this point. We got Kyoko Igarashi. It's a 7-drop 6/7, evolves for 1, has ward, fanfare, give your leader +3, draw 2 cards, and an on evolve still has ward. This follower cannot take damage during your turn, and on evolve, select an enemy follower on the field, engage or refresh it. And then it's CG cute. What the heck? This card is really good.
They were too scared to give this passion.
True.
My issue is like, I do want to say, like, I think this sword set is like one of the best designed class sets they've ever done. Like they identified what sword is missing as just like play styles and certain cards that they need, and they identified them and added them to the game. My issue is that doesn't mean it's good. You know, that doesn't mean they're strong. And I think this card is just like, what sword deck are you ever playing this in? And then cute, like, yeah, I guess you're playing this in cute. This is a pretty good card, so and cute does not have pretty good cards at all. So I guess you play this in cute, but like, I like turn 7 and you're like healing and drawing 2, cool, and you kill something and it's a big ward. It's like, I mean, it's cool, but we've gone past that type of gameplay for Sword a long time ago. You know, if we were still in set 2 or 3, you know, like the best comparison is like Narita Bryan, but even Narita Bryan, it still hits the face, and that's like pretty much all Sword is able to do if they want the deck to be like playable or good. You know, I think this is kind of a cool top end and some sort of like, you know, steadfast samurai deck, you know, like it's just a big value card. But sword can't use big value cards because there's no way to get to turn 7 without dying unless you kill them first, and that's just how kind of the deck's designed, you know, and or the class is designed at this point, mostly because of the other card design in the game. But I don't know, I'm pretty down on this card just because like there's no place for it in Sword, and cute, it's like, I guess this is the best card in cute, but that deck seems terrible.
Yeah, this is a card that's built as the top end for mid-range Sword, but that kind of is what you need to hear is mid-range Sword, and in a lot of scenarios there's no reason you should consider that over any more aggro variants. So I think it's a really good card. I don't know if that necessarily means it belongs in Sword though.
Let me ask you guys, if Kuan wasn't the top deck meta threat that we had to care about, do you think this card would you guys rate it a little bit better than what you're currently thinking?
I'd rate it worse because you're dying 2 turns before, you're dying 3 turns before you can evolve this card. If Kuan didn't exist, you're never able to play this card out because it's just aggro.
Oh, you just think it's too aggro centric, and it's
yeah, this card is way too slow, way too slow. You have to be at 8 to evolve this, because you can't play this down and just heal and draw 2 cards on 7 because it's not effective board anyway.
I mean, I would say differently, because like if you did kind of play around this card and maybe played a slower version of Sword, I think they could do pretty decently into Kuan, just because if you're playing more tempo and playing on curve, you're not giving the Kuan much time to get their spell chain up without, you know, risking like sorcery cash and taking a little bit of damage. So like at the end of the day, you get this out just before they actually are able to like do a Kuan D shift. It's able to remove something they already had on board on your turn and have no health taken out, and then all of a sudden it's blocking at least 2 things on their turn.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it would be worse if Kuan didn't exist. I think this is an okay card against Kuan. I think that's the only saving grace this card has. I think every other matchup, it's literally cannot be played. And we know now, you know, Sword is like the second least consistent class in terms of like card draw, you know.
Yeah.
And you can't just have this card sitting in your hand. Like if you draw this early, you might lose the game. because you're only ever going to have 3 or 4 cards in hand.
Yeah, I just think in a world where you're able to get away with playing mid-range sword, this probably fixed some of the issues that I didn't like with mid-range sword when it came towards the later game. Is like your hand size and quality gets kind of really crappy, and this like kind of refills you a little bit, which I liked a lot. But yeah, I think you guys
play this over Brian.
Because look how cute she is.
Brian's cuter, but like why like I don't know. I think Ward Aura Bane deal 5 immediately is way better in any sword strategy than this card. Unless again, like you're doing a gimmick, Steadfast Samurai stuff where you're just trying to like find your perfect pieces and shit, But
Yeah,
even
yeah.
then, it's still turn 8. Like turn 8 is what was the last game that's been to turn 8? That's not like a control mirror or whatever, Especially when the game is getting faster and faster and faster every set.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I think we've heard enough here. Dang, F. I'm surprised.
Playable. It's not a playable card.
I don't know. I still like the card. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the card a lot. I like the card. Like I said, I think this is a really well designed, set. It's just like no sword deck that will ever like be a good deck will ever be able to play this card unless we go crazy slow the game down, and even in the future, like the closest we have is like Spartacus, even then you'd never play this card. So I don't know. Yeah, I just don't think it's playable.
All right, fair.
It's cute. It's in the worst. If this is Passion, bro, we'd be at a C. Even then I'd be like, I don't even think this is like the best Passion card. But it's in the worst. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so.
All right, next card here.
All right, Nagi Hisakawa, 4-mana 4/4. Fanfare, banish 2 cards that originally cost 1 play point from your cemetery. Choose up to 2 of the following effects. Select an enemy follower on the field and destroy it. Deal 2 damage to each enemy leader. Or draw a card, then discard a card. Activate 1 play point less than 1. Give this follower rush. I really liked it. I think this card's really strong in Passion, in any sort of Idolmaster stuff, because we've seen there's been a lot of 1-drops.
Yep.
And then also just in Sword. Like in Sword generally, it's just you're going to be playing a lot of 1-drops, and you can maybe like bump it up, like by 3, so you go to like maybe from 9 to 12, and you get this really good payoff of, most of the time you're probably just popping something and dealing 2 damage, but it comes down. It's not like on curve stats, because most on curve stats for 4 is 4/5, but you get the draw. You get the deal 2 damage, you get the destroy thing, or you can draw and discard if your hand is terrible, which it probably is because you're playing Sword. But yeah, I like this card a lot. And yeah, I think it's just it's just Sword is in such a weird transitionary period right now where this set, like, why would you play Sword over Aggro Cool or whatever, and then next set like completely change your Sword, for into the future. So I think it's just sort of in that weird, spot where I don't actually think this card will like ever be played, but it's a good card.
I really, really like this card. I like that your 1-drops turn into like some payoff later on that after they get removed or whatever, or even spells. Because like the cards you banish don't even have to be followers, right? So just if you play like some 1-drop spells too or whatever, this coming down and you get to pop something. And I like that. I when I look at this card too, it seems like beyond this set there is potential that it could see play in Sword later on. I just think it's just a solid card overall. I think it's one of the better cards that Sword have in this set right now. So I don't know. I already like rated this as an S, but what else? What are you thinking, Captain?
I'm a big Amelia fan, so this just reads a lot like it, but having, maybe a couple different options outside of that summoning an additional follower. I mean, I really only ever see you using really the 1 or the 2, rather than like the draw a card, discard a card. But it plays really well, I think, in Sword and in Idolmaster. Again, like you guys were saying, there's just so many 1-drops that you're playing. It's immediately has the value. I don't think there's a lot of situations where you drop this and you don't get both, or it's 2 effects. So I think it's really good. I see a lot of scenarios where you'd rather play something else, I think.
Yeah, I mean, even a bit, I'd rather play Amelia than this card for sure. Because like I don't want to be in Sword, where we just have no card draw, I don't want to be reliant on having to find my 2/1 drops before this card is even playable.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
I think I'm gonna give it a B. I would give it a C, but it's
Yeah.
passion, so it gets one up.
All right, moving on here.
So this is Rin Shibuya. It is a 4-cost 4/4 with Ward. It has Fanfare. If there's a follower on your field with Uzuki Shimamura in its name, select an enemy follower on the field and deal it 5 damage. And then another Fanfare. If there's a follower on your field with Mio Honda in its name, deal 5 damage to each enemy leader. So this reads very good, especially if there's a way to get this out while having one of the other two or both of the other two. It's a removal, it's Ward, it deals 5 damage to face. I really like this card a lot.
This card is so fucking dumb. Holy shit.
Yeah, and
I didn't realize
we
it did
saw
5 damage to the leader.
Yeah, we saw an Azuki and a Mio in the starter decks, right?
Yeah, the legendaries.
Yeah.
Were they relatively good? I can't remember. I feel like the Mio Honda was in the Passion deck, and she was able to summon additional things. So
Well, they weren't legendary, so my bad. Yeah. The Mio is the 6-drop passion card that flips stuff over.
right.
And then what's
So
the other
flip
one she
over into
changed for?
this and deal 5.
Yeah, but this
Azuki.
is cool. But this is cool, so you can't flip over into it.
Oh, my bad.
Izuki, I don't know which one was.
I think she might have been from Cool.
She might have actually been.
No, Rin
Cube.
is from Cool.
Yeah, because this is the New Generations group, I think, or whatever.
Oh yeah, okay. It was okay. So none of these. So
They're
none
not
of these
an archetype.
apply. Yeah, so we
Yeah.
need the sword ones. Okay. I'm less puking in my mouth. It's like if you had 6 copies of each of these, yeah, we're on to the next game. We're on, go next.
I assume there's got to be another Izuki and another Mio, though.
Yeah,
that plays a bit better.
Ones, yeah.
I think this reads really well. And I mean, maybe you have to base it a little bit on these other 2 cards to see how well it actually plays. Because if those are unplayable, then there's not really a reason to play this one as well. But
my issue is that, like, it does nothing unless, like, something survived the previous turn.
Yeah. Or you have a lot of play points to play both things.
Yeah, which my just philosophy is, or whatever, is just like, if something, like, if we have to assume something survives, then the card's probably not good, because we're getting the value already from something surviving. Like, we already, like, that, we're already winning. We're already ahead,
Mhm.
especially in an aggro deck. So I don't know. I think even just not knowing the cards, I think this is just a pretty,
like, on paper, like, I like the idea of these effects, but at the end of the day, every time I read this card, it just sounds like I'm living in this magical dreamland where I'm going to get both of these effects off. I think if, like, the Mio Honda route is, like, consistent and good, and, like, this is, like, the extra reach you need to finish the game, but on curve if you need to ward because we're in this aggro meta, this card seems completely fine then. But I think outside of that, if you can't get, the biggest appeal to me is the Mio Honda part, and I think the Izuki is, like, the extra, like, cherry on top that makes it even better. But the fact that I don't think that we're going to get these effects off too consistently unless we're getting into, like, the 7+ play point range, then yeah, it just reads to me as, like, do I need this extra 5 push to, like, win games? Then we probably include this if we're already on, like, the Mio Honda stuff. But yeah, I want to love the card, but it's just hard for me to believe that these effects are going to be relevant all the time.
yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is. Yeah, I think thinking about it more, I don't think this.
Yeah, this is where I'm at, only because I want to believe in the magical, like, Christmas land I'm going to be. So D for Disneyland, because that's where I'll be on Splash Mountain when this pops off and I get both effects. But
I'm giving it an F for the expletive I'll give my opponent if they played against me.
Yeah, I like it. It just really depends on those other two cards, and we can't rely on multi-card combos. So
Yeah.
All right. Next card here. Oh, this is the Miyanda. Hold on. 6 play points to do this. Wait, we might be back in, boys.
Cooking.
We cooking the damage. How much is this gonna do? Oh, we need a Rin to get this. Oh my god. See the combos, guys. All right.
It's passion though.
Oh, true. Listen, we're gonna play the new generation deck. All right, it'll be fine.
but
So
it
this
is a 6 cost, deal 8. We like that.
Yep. So this is Mio Honda 2-drop 2/1 Storm Strike. If there is a Uzuki on the Uzuki Shimamura in its name on the field, give this follower +1 strike. If there is a follower on your field with in Shibuya in its name, give this follower +1 attack. And then passion. I mean, this is obviously automatically played in every cool deck in existence, right? Because
because it's not passion. It's not cool.
But the other cool cards weren't that reliant on having cool cards, were they?
And the thing is, Rin isn't cool. Rin is one of the better cards to be playing in cool. And then so this comes down to 2-drop 3/1 Storm, right? Every time.
If you have it, yeah. If you have it, and it survived.
Rin is the card that gives other things Storm as well, right? And it's a 3-drop.
Yes.
So like on turn 5, this is just 6 damage for 5.
But on 5, we want to be playing Cerberus. Or I mean now Kamiya or whatever.
I just think the play point allotment on here just adds like the extra reach. I'd be surprised if are you saying we don't play this in cool at all, like the cool aggro deck?
I'd be shocked, right? I mean, it's terribly statted. It's just a 2-mana 2/1 Storm. I'd be really shocked.
I feel like this is played. It was I completely.
Yeah, I feel like I've definitely seen it before. And if it's just looking for a Rin Shibuya for the +1, you potentially have 2 different ways to get that activated, which is really solid. So a 2-drop swing for 3 just seems really good to me.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going crazy here. You're really down.
Maybe
this?
there's just not enough good 2-drops. I don't know. This to me does not sound like what we want to be doing. But I don't know. Like,
I feel like this is perfectly on game plan for the cool aggro deck. That's why I'm surprised you don't think it's played at all. Just because we have Rins in the aggro deck. The Rin cards are really strong in the aggro deck. So the fact that we can curve out into this,
we have 1 Rin card. We have 1. Are we playing?
Well, and the one we were just on.
But we can't play that. I don't think the 4-drop is playable at all in this aggro deck, because we're assuming that, like I just said, we're assuming that something has to survive. Because on 6 we have better stuff we're doing, and on 5 we have better stuff that we're doing. But great, like okay, sure, we have the novice trooper, and then this comes down and does 3, but it's so poorly statted, it's terribly statted, and it just auto like okay, they play. If they're cool on it, it's such a terrible like play point to conversion. I don't know. I don't because the thing to me is the cool aggro deck reads to me as like we're just playing so many cards that are well statted that do so many things that it's basically an aggro deck. Like we're playing the 1-mana 3/2, and we're playing the 2-mana 2/3 that's like Better Luminous Night, and we're playing all the other stuff, and maybe there's just other, every other cool 2-drop is terrible, which the ones that we've seen are not terrible, but we have to, be fine that it's terribly statted, and we have to be fine that the only time it's really that good is we're comboing with another card that is one of the best cards in the deck, but and it's not on trait at all. Because the other cards that I was thinking might be good in cool aggro, even though they were off trait, do something really strong and are really high value. This to me is not high value. If this is a cool deck, or if this is a cool card, I wouldn't be complaining at all. I wouldn't be saying anything at all, because yeah, obviously you just put this in. But since it's passion, I just don't think it's that good. It's a 2-mana 2/1 Storm. I don't think, like, you'd might as well just play 2-mana 2/3 guy, because it's just gonna die every turn. Like it just dies to anything. I don't know. Maybe I'm like super off, but I don't know. I'm looking at some of the decks. It seems like one of them plays it and the other ones do not. At least in the Chiba Grand Prix or whatever. But I don't know. I don't think this. I don't know, it's just terribly sad. Like way, 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 way bad stats.
Yeah, I I agree with you. Like stat wise, it's not the best. Like especially when you don't have the Rin. But I just value the storm and the pressure it pushes onto your opponent. Like maybe I'm overvaluing that, but I don't know. That's what I feel like for the most part.
Because like Quick Blader's terrible. Like this is like slightly better Quick Blader. Like I feel like we've kind of accepted that Quick Blader's terrible. And like I don't know why Quick Blader would be terrible and this card is not. And it's out of trait.
But I don't think trait mattered that heavily, right? In cool, or is everything looking for cool?
I mean, it matters for the 1-drop. It matters for the 5-mana 3/3. It matters for the 4-mana girl. They can only search cool cards, but that's not really. It doesn't check, obviously.
Mhm.
You know? I don't know. All right, maybe I'm wrong. I just feel like this again. Maybe once we finish this, there's literally no other 2-drops that are cool 2-drops that are good, and we just throw this in. But even at that point, I'd probably rather just play another 1-drop. Because like if you just play a goblin, it's just better than this card because it's better statted. It comes down on 1 and basically a storm because this comes down on 2.
Do we
And they're
think
both
it
gonna
might
die
be
the same turn.
worth seeing the Azuki as well?
Is
Or do we wanna-
Suzuki? Which card?
I think
is
it's the next card.
this one. I mean, yeah, we could take a look at the Zuki before rating this one, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Is this me? Yeah. Izuki Shimamura, 3-mana 3/3, Evo for 1, fanfare less than 1, give +1 health to your leader. Evolve, search your deck for a follow with Rin Shibuya or Miyo Honda in its name. Put an EX there. Okay. Is this cool? Oh no, it's cute though.
It's cute. No, because it's new generation. They're all separate archetypes. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
But
makes
it's
the whole
able to-
thing.
It's able to search out the starter deck we're in, which is nice, and make it a 1-drop.
Like I'd
But
rather
then-
just do that, right? Like I'd rather just do that than like go, okay, well now we have this card. Because this is my issue is that we go, okay, like we don't like because a combo is good, we don't need to make it like more good at the cost of the, like lowering the power level of the deck. Because like because this searching out the Novice Trooper is super sick. I feel like that's fine. I don't think we need to like force, okay, well now we need to add the 2-drop 2/1 storm. Now we need to add, the 4-drop Rin. That's just my opinion, though. I don't know.
I think it kind of, and it's something that like Kit was talking about earlier. This actually really enables that later game combo. Like you're now able to turn 8, turn 7 going second. But like if you have this card and one of the others in hand, you're able to well, I guess you'd prefer the Rin Shibuya in hand, but you'd be playing the Rin and this card, searching out the Miyo Honda, and the Miyo Honda is free, and you're going to be able to do quite a bit of damage, regardless of which Rin you grab is in your hand. I think.
I forgot. Rin only looks at attack, or does it look at trait for giving something else storm? I know this can't get storm because it has 4 attack on Evo, but I'm just curious. It only looks at attack.
You have to have 3 cool cards or cool followers on the field though. First.
Well, this summons 1. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure if this Suzuki really changes my opinion on the last card, but it's definitely like kind of helps that card too, and like supplements this as like a random card that can pull the second card that you need out to like finish everything. So I kind of like this stuff, but yeah, I don't know. What were you gonna say?
I'm just gonna say, like for me, what I'm coming at it from, and this is just how I see the game and stuff. Is that like the reason I think this cool deck is really strong, and the reason that I think it like has quote unquote like value over forest or aggro sword or aggro abyss is because it seems like it has a lot of high value cards and consistency. Like we've already seen 2 different cards that go, okay, search your deck for a 2-drop, or the 5-mana 3/3 that checks the top 4 and puts 2 in play, which the other 2 aggro decks that we've had 2 to 3 that we've had in the game so far recently do not. So for me, adding this like inconsistent package to the deck is not what I'd want to be doing, because I think that I'd rather just be staying on trait to an extent. Like, I think there are some cards that you can just splash in because they're good. Like, I think the trainer is really strong. But like, putting this whole package in is gonna feel terrible when you only have one of the pieces. Because like, if you only have like the 4-drop Rin, the card sucks. The card's horrendous, And we're playing aggro deck. We only are gonna have 3 to 4 cards in hand. And that's where I come at it from. And again, if all these were cool, we'd be good. Even if Mio Honda was a 2/2 storm, like, I'd be like, okay, this makes sense. But the fact that it's like 2/1, it's because I do value the 1/2. Like, I think most of the time it will get killed, but like, Fire Chain exists, Angelic Barrage exists, Archer exists, and also just one attack guys exist. So and it's always going to be tapped because you just play down on immediately. And I don't know, like, the whole late game combo stuff. It's like, if we're at turn 8, we lost already because we're playing aggro. We're trying to kill them. And it sounds cool, but having to go, okay, we have 2 cards in hand, and then it's like, I don't know. I'm really down on these cards, but and even because I'm also like giving the option for it to be playable, because I'm sure people will play this and it's like an okay package. I just feel like it's too inconsistent, and we're watering down a deck where one of its main things is that it's consistent. It seems like, so I don't know.
Do you see it maybe as a playable package if you just don't include the Rin Shibuya? I mean, that is the only cool card in
Yeah.
this package, but like a turn 4, this to search out the Mio Honda, and now you're storming for 2 on a 2/2,
Yeah, so what, we just play the 2-drop Mio Honda, this
and the
this
Uzuki.
this Uzuki. Maybe probably, I guess.
Well, this
think,
card can get the other Rin. I mean, obviously,
yeah, I'd rather just play this and get the other Rin. Like, I'd rather just
Yeah.
never play Mio
yeah,
and
that's
just play this in the Rin.
okay.
Not the 4-drop Rin.
Okay,
3-drop
all right.
Rin.
Let's go back to Mio really quick. What do you rate this special? Because I have
I
it
think
like
this is F.
F?
I think this card sucks. I think this card's terrible. I think like, again, if you want to play the whole package, that I think the package is bad, that's the only time it's playable. So I think like it's not playable outside the package, and I think the package is bad. So I think I think that's the worst part of the package. Because even if I think the next card is good, the Uzuki, I'd still rather just play Uzuki. I'd rather just play Uzuki in the 3-drop Rin. Because like, why would I play this over just playing more goblins?
Maybe I'm just like misreading this completely. I super value the extra reach out of hand like immediately, and like if they don't have the answer, then well, the idea in cool is that this will more often than not be a 3 swing for 2.
How? Like the other stuff we have?
But
But then the other stuff either only because the other stuff only buffs cool stuff, right? I thought that was the 1-drop only buffs cool. No, it does give everything. It does give everything. But it itself is hurt when there's not another cool thing. So I don't know. Like, it's I don't know. I don't think the out of hand damage for 2, because we already have the out of hand. We already have the Rin Shibuya, the Novice Trooper. Like, I'd rather just play goblins and then the Novice Trooper.
it just the fact that it gets buffed by like I don't know. I guess we're just not nowhere near each other on like how we think about
I
it.
don't like how, because the way I see this card is it's the worst card in the deck by far if I don't have the other 2, or if I don't even have 1 on the field. That's how I look at it. And I don't like having a card like that, because then it's like, okay, why am I playing this over like the other decks that just, if I just have the perfect hand, I just auto win. Like, because I feel like this deck has a positive over those decks because they're more consistent. Does that make sense? Am I wrong in that? Like, do you disagree with that? Because I feel like this is
I definitely I agree with what you're saying with like the Azuki and maybe just playing the Azuki to search out the regular Ren and not caring about the rest of the package.
Yeah.
But I mean this is where me and you have talked a lot where there's a lot of situations where these combo cards that are reliant on each other are just cards that I love. So maybe there's a little bit of bias on my side. I like things like this. I like Romeo Juliet. It's
Yeah, but would you say Romeo and Juliet is good?
I know, but that's because I've tried them.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Captain. What do you rate this card then?
Mio Honda, I would probably go D to C because it's reliant on the other cards. I think as soon as you bring Azuki into it, it's immediately a lot more feasible because Azuki searches her out and she plays her, and now she's a 2/2 that's storming. I kind of agree with you that I'd rather that a 2-cost storm than a 1-cost goblin. Especially, we saw a couple of the 1-drops that were at 1 health. I At the end of the day, outside of like Fire Chain, that health difference doesn't really matter. But at the same time, now that we have brought up Fire Chain, we are seeing more and more 1-drop or 1 defense cards. So I want to lean towards C, but I can see where pressure's coming from, and it's making me lean to D.
Yeah, I just see this as like on turn 5, I get a Rin Mio Honda for 6 damage like immediately, which seems really powerful in my head.
That's 2 cards out of your hand. That's 2 cards that you have to have already in your hand. Like any 2 cards in the deck is going to be strong. And then also,
and you've already been playing 1 to 2 per turn.
Maybe this just comes from the fact that I haven't seen a lot of the cool deck being played. Like I didn't do a ton of research into this specific meta like I normally do before we do these reviews. I don't know. I like this card. I was kind of like hovering around C for this card, so I'm just going to give it a C, and then you guys can do as you please.
I guess, I think thinking about it, I guess I'm not going to give it an F because I do think like outside of this, I think it could maybe have very niche like uses in normal Sword or like, Sword decks, just because it's like if you just go like an all Storm deck.
Yeah, it's one of those things too where I really, really value Storm. I like that this has the potential upside of being a 3 attack. Worst case scenario, it's 2. And I think at the end of the day, one thing you can't be afraid of with like cards like this that add extra reach is that as the aggro player, your opponent is going to be spending their play points to answer your board. So they're not always going to be passing with like 1 to 2 play points floating all the time. At least that's how I feel. Like obviously you run into like Kuon, then obviously like, oh yeah, they pass everything floating and just wait to see what you do. But I don't know. I like this card
because I agree with that, but it's only 2 attack. Like if it was 3 or 4, like I agree with that. I agree that okay, we're playing an aggro deck, so like they're not going to have stuff open. But my issue is that it's only 2. Like I don't think the 2 means much considering we're playing an entire deck slot for it. Does that make sense?
I mean, I understand your argument. I just think you are more fixated on that this will always be a 2/1, and I'm more fixated on the potential of it being a 3/1 more often than not when I want to play this card. But I think that's just where the split is.
There's only max 6 Rins, and then also none of them come down before this card comes down.
Yeah, I'm not saying that this is like has to be played on curve or anything. I'm saying that this is a card you combo with the Rin when you play the Rin in the later turns, like on turns 5 and 6 when you're trying to close the game out before it goes too long as the aggro player. But maybe I am just overvaluing the potential damage from this, and that's what it comes down to.
Well, and Prussia is coming from the direction of at that point in the later turns, you're not going to have 2 cards in hand, let alone the Rin and the Mio. Which I kind of see.
I feel like a lot of those, like I get to turn 5 and like my hand could potentially be Rin and Mio, and then that's it. But maybe I like once again, maybe like I just have not like I haven't experienced the cool deck completely. I need to watch some matches and play with the deck myself, and maybe we're coming to that point where like this deck has to win by like literally turn 4 and 5, or the game is over for you.
But yeah, I mean I guess like for me it's like we've already seen better turn 5 plays that this deck has. Like that, like because I would be like I would get what you're saying or whatever if we hadn't already seen better turn 5 plays. And I also just feel like a better turn 5 play is just playing 2 above average stat guys, playing our Rin Shibuya, like playing our Rin Shibuya and then playing our better Luminous Knight. Like that's,
Yeah.
to me, that's already a better turn than the Mio Honda Rin Shibuya stuff.
Is there like a turn 5 play that does push 6 damage, or that I don't remember, or immediately, or
I'm talking about the 5 mana 3/3.
yeah, but it doesn't push immediate damage though, right?
Well,
Does it?
Can't you flip?
It flips over the other
The
two.
Rin. If you get the Rin and Karen, you get 6 Storm, right?
Yes.
Because the Rin gives the 1-drop Storm, and then they swing for 3 and 3.
Well, and you could hit anything on that.
You can hit anything, exactly.
Yeah, you just need to hit any other 1-drop cool card. But if you hit the Rin off the now, you are storming for 6.
Okay.
If like storming for 6 is like a key thing, which I don't think it would be, because it's we're just playing like
maybe
really high.
I don't know. When I play aggro decks, or I think of aggro decks, I want to put the pressure on my opponent, and I want the reach and the immediate damage always, because that forces my opponent to forever play control, or they should be knowing to play control the entire time. And I don't know. Maybe that's where the disconnect is for me, and like how you're evaluating this card. But
yeah, because I think, and I've talked about this to you before, and I think to Captain before, but like the way I've seen the game since since it came out in Japan is that, and I played a little, so I realized that like the way this game works a lot of the time in most matchups is anything you play will have Storm, because it's just really hard to interact with unless you have a spell. That the Storm thing would be getting killed by anyway. So I get the out of hand damage, and that's why I like the Novice Trooper, because the Novice Trooper is really strong. But like adding more of these cards that are like, because to me the Mio Honda just reads, okay, I'm swinging for 2, and then next turn they just get to go like, I just have a guy that they can just swing into again now with like whatever, Cudgel or Dragon Warrior or whatever, and it didn't get me anything. And it sounds like the only time she's good is past turn 5 or 6, where we've already seen better turn 5 plays.
All right, I think we just spent too much time on this anyway. Let's just move on. Let's talk, or not talk about Izuki, but let's rate Izuki. I like this card, but it's also, I think it just revolves the package it needs to be in is not the best in the world.
The V. Yeah, I like this. I guess it just depends on, is the 3-drop Rin the best card in the deck? I kind of don't think it is. I think the 5 mana 3/3 is the best card in the deck. And then I'm kind of like, I'd rather just play. And again, this is dependent on like how much other Evo stuff we actually do have. But I'd probably rather just play another Evo card than this. So I'm probably going to give this a D as well. But maybe we need this because we just don't have a lot of Evo cards.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing with this is it's a cute card that focuses on passion cards and cool cards. I could see this maybe having some value in passion of being just a turn 4 search for your Mio Honda for your turn 6, which that already to me says a lot, because we did like Mio Honda from the starter deck quite a bit. So it's just like doing like any searches for like Leonidas or something. Like you immediately have some value that you are able to search for. I think it's really solid, and then it still plays into that cool side really well. You don't necessarily need to play the Mio Honda or the Rin, but you have the Rin that you are guaranteed playing. So I think it's really good. I think it's definitely a card that you need to consider, but it's not an instant play, no.
Okay. All right. After all that talking, who's this? Who are we on now?
I think it's me.
Go ahead.
I think it's you.
Yeah. So this is Anzu Futaba. Anzu Futaba, a 1-drop 3/2. This card does not refresh at the start of your turn. At the start of your main phase, pay 2 play points, refresh the card. Fanfare: if there are 2 or less Idolmaster CG followers on your field, engage this card. So this is a card that works if you hit it off the now. Any other time, I think this is just really bad.
It's cute too, damn.
Oh, it is cute. So it's not even hittable off the now. Okay, never mind.
Dang.
Yeah,
this is the
Yeah,
card.
there's nothing to say.
Yeah. It's like, is this even played?
I'm trying to see the vision. Yeah.
Is this even played in the 1-drop aggro deck or no?
No.
Yeah. I didn't think
It's
so.
not aggro.
Yeah. I mean, it's a 1-drop that's overstated. That's the only reason I would be like, maybe it never. Yeah. All right. Next card here, Karen Hojo. Wait, did we review this card before? No, right?
I don't think so.
No,
Okay.
there's a different Karen Hojo.
Okay. Karen Hojo, it's a 2-drop 1/1 that evolves into a 2/2. Evolves for 1. Fanfare, if there are at least 3 IMSCG followers on your field, give this flower +2. Give this flower +2 health, and then on evolve, select an enemy follower on the field, deal 3 damage to it and this follower. What? So it goes back to 1, so it becomes a 2/1. What is this card?
Dear God.
So it's either a 1/3 that has the potential to evolve into a 2/1. But I guess it does kill something. All right. Oh, it was nice knowing you, Karen Hojo.
No way.
It's a card.
Mm-hmm. It is a card that you're legally allowed to play.
We are seeing the full spectrum of Shadowverse card design in this.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, we saw some really good, cool cards. Cool had to lose somewhere, right?
We need some really but it does seem like there's really horrendous cool cards are really broken. There's no in between, it seems like.
Yeah. And the worst part, or not, I don't know if it's the worst part, but it seems like almost like you're almost given the perfect deck from the starter. Basically, you buy the starter and like supplement like 4 cards and you're done. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next card here.
All right. Heart Pounding Impulse, 1 drop. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck. You may reveal a cool or passion card from among them and add it to your hand. Put the remaining cards on the bottom of your deck in order. So this is the Inspection Start equivalent, but for some reason they hate cute. That's so bizarre. They fucking hate cute. I don't know why.
Oh, because this character is a twin with the other 4-drop, and so she's cool and the other girl's passion. So that's my assumption is why they did that way.
Okay. Oh, they're different characters?
Yeah, they're twins. I think this is just on flavor, essentially.
Okay. I might have to rewatch the anime.
It just seems weird that they're afraid to give it both cool and passion then. Because I know there's some neutral cards they give all 3 types to.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Those neutral cards have 3 girls on there that all have different traits in the game. And then these girls have different traits in the game as well. And since they're twins,
the traits are like from the game.
Yeah. So because those are like the archetypes for the game. Cool,
I thought
passion,
they were like kind of elements or whatever.
Kinda, yeah. I mean, sure. Like that's what their cards are in the game. So,
Okay. I don't like. Maybe in passion, but then it's like, yeah, maybe you play this in passion, but you don't want to be playing any spells outside of the Serpent's Wrath. That we'll get to later, right? Because you want to be flipping stuff over because Mia only checks 2.
Yeah, I mean it's a 1-drop that you can sack away too. I don't know how much you care about the consistency because it seems like Passion has so many cards that either replace itself or draw cards or search cards. So this, like, I think on paper this would be, or like in a vacuum, this card would probably be pretty good. But maybe in seeing the whole picture, this card doesn't see play because everything is already so inbuilt consistency for Passion.
Yeah. Right. Well, and I think the cards that we're seeing in Passion that we really like are like the 7-drop, the 9-drop. So having that, you're going to be potentially breaking sometimes. So having this little consistency booster, I think it's pretty attractive for that.
Yeah. But the other aspect is like there's cards that you want to keep in the deck, like you don't want to have. So and then also like you could be putting the other stuff at the bottom because it's like, okay, you flip over. Okay, well, 2 of the 9-drops or whatever. Like you don't want them in your hand. I mean, well, I guess that one you want in your hand. The 8-drop, I don't know. It's okay. I think the main thing would be like, would we need a consistency bonus?
Yeah, I feel like unlike Uma, that card was a must include. In this one, this is the last card you consider putting in your deck or the first card to cut.
Yeah,
because we don't have a vodka.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a D.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it an F because I don't think it's playing Passion, and it's also like,
you don't play.
It's definitely not in cool. Yeah,
so it's just I don't think it's playable.
All right, next card here. Now, wait, is this me or Captain.
Thanks, Cap.
Go Cap.
I think it's me. This is the second now, Kamiya. 2-drop, 2/3. Fanfare, if there are at least 3 Idolmaster CG followers on your field, select an enemy follower and deal it 2 damage. And it is cool. Again, I don't remember what other 2-drops we've seen in cool, but this seems like really good for the mirror.
Yeah.
Not on turn 2, of course, but it does seem like it's something that doesn't hurt you at all. I don't think it's an instant play because I think there are just other cards you want, but it doesn't read bad at all.
I think I like this because it's a fighter. It's worse than the other fighter we saw, the Luminous Knight, but it's still on trait. We're trying to just play as high value, high stats cards as possible. It's going to eat a surefire or other 3 health things or 3 damage things, and then in the mirror it's pretty sick because it doesn't seem like the deck has too much interaction outside of this. And it kills the tokens as well from Rune. So I like this card a lot actually.
Yeah, I can see it. It definitely seems like almost like the tech cool pick. I don't know how many lists you guys were looking over or whatever. Is this like heavily played in those lists?
From the ones I'm seeing, yeah.
Okay.
In both the non and or the Mio Honda list and the non Mio Honda lists.
Yeah, it seems like this is probably just the best 2-drop they probably have, like to curve out if they don't drop 2 1-drops.
Yeah. The Luminous Knight.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Luminous Knight. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like this card. It seems completely fine for the cool archetype. So.
Oh, yeah, I think like a B probably for me.
Yeah, I like it. I feel like there's going to be just too many times where you're going up against the mirror in this meta. So having that card that can actually help with that is really solid.
Yeah, definitely.
Fair. All right, next card here. We got 3-drop, 3/4 Mayu Sakuma. It has a Sail Bane Drain, but no Rush or Storm. Sad. It's a 3/4. It doesn't die to like Surefire Bullet or anything. So, I mean, and it's Q trait though. How much do we care about a Sail Bane and Drain in this instance? There's not that many cards out there with Drain, so that's kind of nice, I guess, if you're looking for that Drain.
It's like the backup. It's the bullpen man for the Steadfast Samurai deck, right? Where it's like, oh, I need this, so I'm just gonna make like, or I need to, I'm playing the Steadfast deck and I need a backup plan. So my backup plan is just healing like 20 off this with the armor, maybe.
That would be pretty funny.
It's like the bullpen guy because it's like this is not what we want to be doing. I don't know. I forgot. I didn't realize this didn't have Rush.
If it
has such good trade or just such good.
The keywords are good, except you can't make use of them immediately.
Yeah.
They also just really want cute to be Abyss in some way, giving it Drain, and then like other cute cards throwing stuff in the grave and requiring
really is like Abyss because there's like cards that have a lot of text and sound good, and you realize the deck is like inconsistent as fuck and like has
Oh man, it has 3 keywords. Part of me wants to give it an F, but it has 3 keywords.
I can't give it an F.
It has 3 keywords.
I like it. It survives the surefire, and so I feel like I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of like if you just had a 3-drop, 3/4 ward, but at least the heal's nice. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess if you're going first and you drop this down, it's kind of scary for your opponent. Like it does require it to be answered. Otherwise, whatever follow up they play is just going to get answered, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah. All right. Our goat is here, Brescia.
Okay, I'd like to change my score.
Oh no, he gave a plus. Yeah, let's go.
Bro, man, fuck Dimension Shift, bro.
Dude, this is Dimension Shift at home. We got this. Don't worry.
No other Dimension Shift gives me a 9/9 ward.
Oh. Oh my god! I reread the effect again. The fact that you just have to have one play point on the board and this becomes a
Yeah.
6-drop. I love this card. You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm changing my thing too. I'm gonna. Yeah, dude,
We have seen a lot more 1-drops and stuff.
Yeah,
like if you
yeah.
wanted to play like some 1-drop deck, but I don't
Yeah.
Really
Oh
I'll be
man.
the sane one in the room,
Yeah, I
and I'll
think you should
keep
be
it
the
a
sane.
B.
Yeah, please be the same one. Stop us from going insane.
You know, I think the biggest thing is we've just gone through all these other sword cards, and I think 2 of them were passion, and neither of them were really that great. The first one was solid, but you weren't really playing it. I think.
Well, we
so.
don't care about we don't care about it being sword.
I just want to live in magical Christmas land, all right? I want to have a full board, drop this, and restand everything after swinging in for 12. Oh, no. Okay. All right, moving on here.
I think it's me.
Yep.
2-drop 2/2 Miho Kohinata. That's kind of a hard name. Evo for 1 has no other effect. On evolve, select the enemy fall on the field and deal 2 damage. If there are at least 5 cute cards in your cemetery, deal 3 damage instead. I really like that they printed this card for sword because almost all the classes now have this card where it's the 2-mana 2/2 that evolves and deals 2 damage to something. So I'm just glad that they're giving that to sword because sword actually does need removal. A lot of the times the way to beat sword is just go, well, you can't kill anything unless you hit Heroic Entry to Mach Knight, but that's a lot of sword's power. So yeah, I like interaction. I like these what do you call them in Magic? A cycle? I guess that's not really what it is, but yeah, that type of the same card that like is for every every class kind of.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I've been liking Charming Gentle Mouse and Phantom Blade Wielder, so seeing this in Sword is pretty nice, I think. Especially there's some other sword cards that already exist where it's if you go second, having this followed by those cards, you have some pretty solid removal. So I like it a lot.
Yeah, same. I mean, this generic effect is just really good. I'm glad more crafts are getting it. And I think one thing that Pressure pointed out too is like Sword has the worst ability dealing with the board outside of I'm going to trade my followers into yours. And in reality, a lot of the time, unless you're playing some kind of slower sword deck, you really just want to be able to hit face all the time. You're like the the fake face hunter deck, but yeah.
I'll give it a B.
Yeah.
B for pretty good. All right, last card here.
The last card here is Angelic Maid. It is a 2-drop spell. It is quick and it is select a follower in your field. Give it 1 attack, 3 defense, and then give your leader 3 defense. I kind of really like it. It's just a much more aggressive, maybe not aggressive, but it is a Armor of the Stars that just heals you a lot more. So you're trading off the aura for the heal, and that's not bad.
And you gain
Also,
the keyword
anytime.
quick as well. So it being a combat trick is like really cool in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this card a lot. This is the first like okay, maybe Sword has like a secondary playable deck because now you finally have more buff cards that are good for the like Steadfast Samurai deck. So I can actually envision like, hey, Steadfast. I'll mention the only or like Steadfast, and then maybe the Maid Girl, and then you go Armor of the Stars, Angelic Maid, and then you just play Control. And I think that's actually like not a terrible deck into some matchups. And I think it's pretty cool. This is a very high value card, giving basically 4, total stats and healing you for 3 for 2 mana. Really high value stats. I like that they are like going, okay, we know that like Sword will not be able to utilize this as well as literally every other class in the game, basically. So we're fine making it like pretty powerful. Now the issue comes when they make like a Leod-esque deck from Digital where the entire deck is Leod and then 37 other cards, where the entire goal is to just OTK with Leon. That's where the issue comes, and it's not really sword. But I think this, is very balanced in the fact where it's like, we're buffing something, we're healing a little because sword needs healing pretty badly, and we're adding a combat trick. Not that sword really leaves stuff open, but if we do play that sort of control-esque deck where we're trying to do steadfast, we're trying to make some big body that's hard to deal with. I like this a lot. So yeah.
The fact too that it's a quick and it heals is actually kind of scary in the sense that I don't think this will come up too often. But if you're playing into sword, a lot of the times like they have a scary board, but you can usually ignore it and just end the game because you have enough damage on board already or out of hand or whatever. But this kind of like makes you second guess, like, oh, they have 2 floating play points. Like I have to do 3 more damage than their current health total. Otherwise, if I mess up and they live with 1 health, their board that I ignored because I thought I had lethal suddenly is killing me. So that's also like an interesting thing too, because like Pressure pointed out, sword has like 0 healing.
Yeah, I really like concentration as a card. But I also think that +1/+3 is so much more worthwhile than a draw card in a lot of situations, especially in these more aggressive decks like Sword or Idolmaster. So it's cheaper, it does more, and it does more for what the deck wants to be, and I really like it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that too high? Hold on. Let me think. Is that too high?
Here, I'll be the same one here.
I was gonna say,
we've been blazing it. I don't know.
I'm giving it B for blazing. All right.
Yeah, I'll give it an A. I don't think like. Yeah. I think it's powerful, but not meta warping. I think that's a pretty good description. So,
all right.
Yeah, definitely not B because it should always be considered for the grind. So yeah, it's powerful but not meta warping.
All right, here we are, boys. We made it to the end. Here's some of our socials. Make sure to follow them. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to this video because if you made it this far, that means I guess you like our content. So please do so. I think besides that, thanks as always to Pressure for joining me, and then Captain as our special guest here. You guys have any last minute shout outs?
Do not at me in the comments, please. Thank you. About
it's probably not
the
good.
Greatest card of all time.
Yeah, it's probably not good, but I'll be playing those 3. Don't worry.
I like to hear it. All right. Well, goodbye, everyone. Hopefully see you in the next video, which should be Rune, I believe. So goodbye, everyone.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.